So I just wanted to say, my boy Garrett's watching, Cleater Mac, if you're watching, just, go ahead and slip that Ford Ranger up under the, door, It's Christmas time. I know you're feeling generous and all, so, just thought I might give a shout out. And I'm praying, I'm hoping, I'm wishing, I'm doing all the things. I guess it's all up to fate now. I'm hoping. Anyway, let's move on to the business at hand and get on. Come on. So, we are here to give you a demonstration on how to go from this, which is a triple wire trigger spring, hammer spring, whichever you want to call it, to a slightly more stout trigger spring, hammer spring on your AK-47. Now, we've already done this on the channel, but I really didn't like the way it turned out, which is why we're refilming it. There was some footage that turned up missing, and I honestly was using a not so great, not so reliable filming setup. So, there's reasons behind why that, didn't necessarily turn out like it should have. Plus, I kind of don't have a tripod set up or anything at this point to shoot with. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of doing it by hand right now. Obviously, it's gonna look amateurish because, let's just face facts. It is amateur, amateur shit kind of stuff, because I'm filming without a tripod or without even a selfie stick or anything like that. I'm just holding this the cell phone up by hand. But I do think that this cell phone actually does film with 1080p, and it has the light. It's got the light, which is, it's kind of important. It, in addition to the floodlight in the old bedroom here, in addition to the floodlight, it adds, clarity and sharpness on those close-up pan shots. So, not that I know necessarily about that sort of thing, but we're gonna act like we do. We're gonna act like we know what we're talking about, and we're moving on. So, all right, let's get down to business. And so, what we're gonna do is we're gonna demonstrate how to remove this from your AK-47 and reinstall a higher tension single strand spring. And I will give you an example of that and demonstrate all that in the upcoming video. Alright, let's get to it. So we're just going to set that old spring to the side because we've already actually changed it out, but don't worry, I will give you the demonstration on how to do it all right. So, as best as I can with one hand. Obviously, I only have one hand available because I'm not filming with my feet. So, we're gonna. Alright. Might have to set this phone down for just a minute to get this dust cover off. We might have just hit our first snag, but it's okay. It's alright. This is a work in progress. We're gonna work through it. We're gonna work through it. So give me just a second. Let me use my my other hand to just work this thing unless I can. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna have to take just a second here. So the best thing to do is you're going to need a set of punches to do this. So, get you a punch, press that button in, and then, I still can't really film this with just one hand. Press that button in, press that button in with the punch, and then guide the dust cover off. Set it to the side. Alright. Next comes the recoil spring. Just grab it, push it in, pull out, set it to the side. Okay. Now, what comes next is gonna be your safety selector switch. So, if you're doing this and your trigger, if your safety selector switch, is getting bound up by the hammer spring, just push it all the way down and get you a pair of needle nose pliers, or you can use this bad boy here, which is just a hook pick. Probably should get you a hook pick set. They come in very handy. They're extremely useful when taking apart your AK. So what you're going to want to do is just you're going to just want to lean with your stomach onto the butt of the AK to make sure it's staying in one place. And then just get your hook pick underneath. Get your hook pick in underneath your trigger spring. Lift up and just See if you can move it out of the way enough to where your safety selector switch can rotate upward. Okay, and from the looks of it, hold on, from the looks of it, yeah, we're good. See, all you gotta do is move that trigger spring out of the way a little bit, and it will rotate upward, and then you just slide it. You match up, the holes on the walls or the holes on the side, and you just slide it out just like that. It won't slide out like that, or like that. You have to line it up to where it'll slide out at like a 90 degree angle. It should slide out for you. Alright, next. So next, what we're going to want to do is focus on the trigger spring or hammer spring, whichever you want to call it. And you're going to want to be very careful here, okay? Which is why I suggest using this pick, because you can get in, underneath it securely, and as long as you keep pressure on it, you can pretty much stay out of the way of its downward force, which is the key here. Because when this thing comes down and smacks your hand, it's gonna make you bleed. I mean, it hurts. It hurts. So just get your hook pick, grab it, raise it up, manipulate it to where it comes up behind the hammer. See how it's tucked up behind the hammer like that? That's where you want to be at. Okay? Now, this next part, once again, you're going to want to kind of try to keep out of the way of this spring here, this hook, or this horn, as I like to call it, because this thing, I don't know if the camera really shows it, but this thing has a kind of a complex shape, and it kind of comes this way, it curves this way, then it curves forward, and then it stops. And when this thing's loaded up like this, it's got way enough force to cause you to bleed out. So if you get bit by this thing, it's gonna hurt, and it's probably gonna make you bleed. So, just trying to save yourself, some pain, by giving you these precautions to take. You might actually want to put on some gloves here, which I think I'm going to just go ahead and do. Alright, so I've got my gloves on now. So these should protect you, enough. But I still wouldn't, you know, completely rely on them for protection against this spring, because you know, let's not forget, once you get both sides of this spring tensioned, I mean, it's got a lot of potential energy. You know, it's not necessarily going to go anywhere, but if it does and your hands are in the way, I can tell you it's going to hurt really bad. It's probably going to make you bleed. So, yeah, I have donned my gloves just to be on the safe side. So I kind of hope you're doing the same thing. It's just a cautionary step, because these things, these hooks, or the tips, you know, as I call them, the horns, they can slip off, because there's nothing actually holding them there but the tension itself. There's nothing holding them there. So they can slip off if you're not absolutely careful about what you're doing. They can slip off, and they will, you know, they'll bite you real good. So I know it's overly cautious, but I just don't want to, you know, be responsible for people getting hurt or anything like that. So anyway, take your other spring, get underneath, um, get underneath the spring with your hook from your set, and just sort of grab it, hold it up, nice and easy. You know, nice and easy. Make sure you don't make contact with that other spring. Bring it around and put it behind the other part of the spring that was already there. And this is what you're kind of going for. Both halves of the spring tensioned behind the hammer. Behind the hammer is where you want it to be. One on one side, one on the other side. Alright, so now, I've seen this done with the shotgun shell, which is, shotgun shell, you can't go wrong with that method, you know? Shotgun shell is not going to steer you wrong. The zip tie method, it's good too. The key is, with the zip tie method, of course, is putting the zip tie in the right place. Because you can put it in the wrong place, but, you know, if you put it up here, up top, you're going to want it, you know, tight enough to pull these two halves together towards the center, which is fine. But the ideal way you want to do this is doing it below the hammer, below the hammerhead, is where you want to put the zip tie. You want to zip tie all three of those together. So you want to zip tie the far end, the middle, and this end, all of them together. That's what you want to do. Okay? Alright, so let me just do that real quick, because I can't do it with only one hand. So let me just pause the video, because I really don't have a way I can demonstrate this with only two hands. So let me just pause.